Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om welcomes all the Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. I am AJ Purnima, and today, for the occasion of Krishna Janmashtami, I have a beautiful story for you all. A story of love, devotion, and surrender at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Such is the inspiring story of Surdās, the singing saint, a poet, composer, and devotee of Lord Krishna from 15th century India. Surdās was born blind to poor parents in a small village near Delhi. As a child, he was neglected and abused by his 3 brothers and parents also, just because he was blind. The child was known as Sur because his parents and neighbors forgot his name. When Sur asked his father to teach him to read and write like his brothers, the father shooed him away. And his mother used to get angry with him when he came home crying to her because his friends teased him. Such was the plight of this little boy. One day, when the 6-year-old little Sur was sitting all by himself, sad and miserable, he heard a group of singers passing by his house. Immediately his mood lifted, and Sur said to himself, I will become a singer. After a few days, another group of singers passed by, and Sur, at the tender age of 6, followed them. But the group was not at all pleased with the idea of being burdened with a blind boy. And you know what they did? They abandoned the little fellow at a lake where they had rested for the night. The little boy was now truly alone. But young Sur was a survivor because he had a divine instinct of locating lost objects. He had a divine vision. He was gifted with it. Even before he had this faculty, he could interpret omens and also help people in recovering things they had lost. So with this gift, by the age of 14, Sur had developed a very strong sixth sense, and he came to be known as the miracle boy. Soon he came to the notice of all the villagers and even the landlord, whose lost son Sur had helped to locate. On hearing about his powers, people came from all over to give Sur their offerings and consult him on issues such as when to travel, when to start constructing my house, and all such things. And somebody also gifted him a string instrument to accompany his singing. He had a very beautiful, lovely voice. And so, because of his singing, by now, Sur had come to be known as Surdās because of his melodious singing. Some of the people who had traveled to see him became his disciples also. They wrote down the songs he had composed, and they loved him, and they served him to the best of their abilities. One night, Surdās dreamt of Lord Krishna and people praising the Lord through bhajans. Then Surdās woke up and was convinced that Krishna was calling to him. The next morning, he immediately departed to Vrindavan against the wishes of all his disciples. And then Surdās had the good fortune of meeting the great saint Swami Vallabhacharya, who had camped in the Vrindavan on the banks of Yamuna. This was one of the turning points in the life of Surdās. While Surdās was making arrangements to cross the river to meet Vallabhacharya, the great master himself arrived at Surdás's residence. Surdās was overwhelmed with joy. Then, upon the master's request, Surdās sang a bhajan about Krishna. Vallabhacharya then requested Surdās to dedicate his life to praising and singing about Lord Krishna. And then Vallabhacharya stayed with Surdas for a few days and told him all about the Leelas of Bhagavan Krishna. Then he initiated Surdas to his own religious order and appointed him as the chief singer of Srinath temple in Gokul. After that, there was no stopping him. Surdas attained a mystical union with Lord Krishna. The blind singing saint could visualize the Lord like he was seeing him live. And he could also visualize any episode of the life of the Lord he chose to. And then he wrote songs on the Leelas of his beloved Krishna as if it was an eyewitness account. There are several stories about the poet's devotion to Krishna. Once, Surdas fell into a well. He sincerely prayed to Krishna for help, and then he was miraculously brought out. At that time, Radha was also by Krishna's side. Then Surdas grasped her anklets. Radha requested him to let go of her anklets. Surdas said, I am blind. I don't know. Are you really Radha? So, Krishna Bhagavan blessed Surdas with vision and he had the darshan of both of them. After that, Krishna asked Surdas to seek a boon. And then, without hesitation, Surdas said, Please take away my vision, my lord. I prefer to remain blind. I do not wish to see anything else with these eyes after seeing your glorious and beautiful form. See, look at the greatness of Surdas. He even rejected sight because he wanted to see only Bhagwan. Another famous episode is about the blind saint's ability to describe the Murti of Krishna as it was. Vittalnath ji was the son of Vallabhacharya. Vittalnath wanted to test Surdas about his ability to describe the Lord. And so he asked his son Giridhari Lal to dress the idol of Krishna only in a garland of pearls. On seeing this Murti of Krishna with no clothing, Surdas burst out laughing. You mean Surdas was blind, but he could still see. He had a divine vision, right? So he could see that this Krishna had no clothing. And so he instantly made a bhajan and started singing happily. He sang, See, Hari, he is stark naked. He looks so beautiful in every limb. He is clothed in pearls. His nakedness adds to the beauty in every limb. And Surdas joins the maidens of Vraj in the laughter. This was the instantaneous bhajan he composed and sang. So after this incident, everybody was convinced of Surdas's unique ability to see his beloved Lord, even though he could see nothing else. So Surdas's reputation as a singer and a devotee spread far and wide. One day, in the court of the Mughal Emperor Akbar, the court singer Tansen sang one of Surdas's songs. Akbar was charmed. What a beautiful composition, Tansen, said Akbar. Did you write it? No, Jahapana, said Tansen. This is composed by the singing saint of Gokul, Surdas, the blind devotee of Lord Krishna. Emperor Akbar invited Surdas to his court, but Surdas declined and he said, I only sing in the court of my beloved Lord Krishna. On hearing this, Akbar himself came to Surdas and listened to his melodious singing in the temple of Srinathji. Then, after this incident, Surdas moved to Vraj or Brajabhumi, the traditional locale of the childhood of Lord Krishna. And then, at the age of 103 years, Surdas suffered a serious illness. And 2 years later, he passed away in 1584. And he attained the divine abode of Sri Krishna. So there are many legends about Surdas, but one of them says that he was Akrura. You know who Akrura was? Akrura was the companion of Bhagavan Sri Krishna in his past existence. Akrura had incurred the wrath of Krishna for impersonating him. You know what happened? Once, Satyabhama, the third queen of Krishna, was feeling neglected as Krishna was showing more attention to Rukmini. So she threatened, I am going to kill myself if Krishna does not come near her. And then, saying so, she became unconscious. Akrura, who was the best friend of Krishna and Satyabhama, he was so anxious and distressed, and he wanted to save Satyabhama at any cost. So he himself took Krishna's form and announced to Satyabhama, "Wake up, my queen, I have come." On hearing this, Satyabhama regained consciousness and she was very happy. But Krishna, was he happy? Not at all. He was not amused. And so Krishna cursed Akrura for deceiving his wife and impersonating Krishna. As a result of Krishna's curse, Akrura had to take birth as a blind poet, Surdas. So, Surdas has many literary works to his credit. His Sur Sagar is the Bhagavata Puran in Vraj language. It celebrates the exploits of Balakrishna and highlights his Leelas. Besides Sur Sagar, the poet has written Sur Saravali, Sahitya Lahiri, and Naladamayanti. All of Surdas's works are a harmonious blend of emotion, devotion, imagination, aesthetic narration, innovative poetic forms with a strong lyrical element, and of course, very fine music. So, this is the story of the blind, poor, abandoned child who came to be known as Sant Surdas. His very blindness became a boon, all due to the grace of his Guru, Vallabhacharya, and his devotion for Bhagavan Krishna. A truly awe-inspiring journey, isn't it? Wish you all a blissful Janmashtami. Hari Om. Thank you. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.